The wind howled like a wounded beast across the vast Montana plains, whipping snow into a blinding fury that erased the line between earth and sky. In the heart of this merciless blizzard, a lone figure staggered forward, her boots sinking deep into the drifts, each step a desperate battle against the cold that clawed at her bones. She was Elena, a young woman fleeing a life shattered by betrayal and loss, her dreams buried under the weight of a broken marriage and the sudden death of her parents in a car accident just months before. Now, with nothing but a thin coat and a backpack of faded memories, she collapsed into the snow, her body numb, her vision fading to white as the storm claimed her. But fate, in its unpredictable mercy, had other plans. Far off in the distance, the silhouette of a cowboy on horseback emerged from the haze, his eyes scanning the horizon for stray cattle, only to spot the unmoving form half buried in the freeze. If you believe in the power of kindness and the beauty of second chances, hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing your own story of unexpected rescue. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that hope can arrive on the wings of a storm, and don't forget to subscribe to Moments of Love for more tales that touch the soul and warm the heart. As the cowboy, named Jack Harlan, urged his horse closer, the world around him seemed to hold its breath. Jack was a man forged by the rugged isolation of ranch life, his face weathered by years under the relentless sun and biting winds, his hands calloused from mending fences and tending to herds that stretched across acres of untamed land. At 42, he carried the quiet scars of his own tragedies, a wife lost to illness a decade ago, a child who never drew breath, leaving him to wander his vast property like a ghost in his own home. He dismounted swiftly, his boots crunching through the crust of snow, and knelt beside the frozen stranger, her lips blue, her breath shallow and ragged. Without a word, he scooped her into his arms, her slight frame limp against his broad chest, and draped his heavy wool coat over her, whispering into the gale, "I'll keep you warm till spring, and after." It was a promise born not from romance but from the raw instinct of survival, a vow to shield this unknown soul from the jaws of winter's cruelty. He rode back to his cabin, the horse plowing through the drifts, while Elena hovered on the edge of oblivion, her mind drifting through fragmented dreams of warmer days long gone. The cabin was a humble sanctuary against the elements, its log walls sturdy and time-worn, the fireplace crackling with fresh logs that Jack hastily fed upon arrival. He laid Elena on the worn leather couch, wrapping her in every blanket he owned, her body trembling uncontrollably as the thaw began its painful work. For hours, he tended to her, brewing strong tea laced with honey from his hives, pressing warm cloths to her forehead, his movements deliberate and gentle, like a man handling fragile glass. As night deepened, the storm raged outside, rattling the windows and piling snow against the door, isolating them in a cocoon of enforced intimacy. Elena stirred at dawn, her eyes fluttering open to the sight of this stranger, his flannel shirt rolled up to reveal arms etched with the stories of hard labor, his gaze steady and kind, without expectation. She learned his name over a simple breakfast of eggs from his chickens and bread baked in his wood stove, her voice weak as she recounted her flight from the city, the husband who had abandoned her for another, the grief that had driven her westward in search of a fresh start, only to be caught in nature's trap. Jack listened without judgment, his own words sparse, revealing glimpses of his solitude, the ranch inherited from his father, the animals that were his only companions, the quiet ache of evenings spent staring at the stars, wondering if life held more than endless cycles of work and weather. Days blurred into weeks as the blizzard refused to relent, blanketing the ranch in feet of snow that made escape impossible. Elena's strength returned slowly, her body mending under Jack's care, but her spirit remained fractured, haunted by nightmares of loss and the fear that she was unworthy of rescue. She helped where she could, chopping kindling with an axe that felt foreign in her hands, feeding the horses in the barn where the air smelled of hay and earth, her urban softness clashing with the ranch's demands. Challenges mounted like the drifts outside, Elena's hands blistered from unfamiliar chores, her mind plagued by doubts that whispered she was a burden, an intruder in this man's ordered world. Jack, too, wrestled with inner demons, the presence of another stirred memories of his late wife, Sarah, whose laughter had once filled these rooms, now echoing only in his thoughts. He found himself pulling away at times, retreating to the barn to mend tack or stare at the horizon, afraid that opening his heart again would invite more pain. Yet, in the quiet moments, connections formed, shared meals by the fire where stories unfolded like unfolding maps, Elena speaking of her dreams to paint landscapes she had only seen in books, Jack admitting his secret passion for carving wooden figures of birds and beasts, hidden away in a drawer. As February's grip tightened, the isolation bred a deeper intimacy, not rushed but organic, like roots seeking soil. Elena discovered Jack's hidden vulnerabilities one stormy night when a fever gripped him, likely from overexertion in the cold, and she repaid his kindness by nursing him through the delirium, sponging his brow and reading aloud from an old book of poetry he kept on the shelf. In those hours, he murmured of Sarah, the love that had bloomed in their youth, the child they lost to a miscarriage that shattered their world, leaving him to rebuild alone. Elena's heart ached in recognition, her own losses mirroring his, and she shared the raw truth of her marriage's collapse, the infidelity that eroded trust, the emptiness that followed her parents' funeral, driving her to this frozen crossroads. Struggles intensified as cabin fever set in, arguments flared over trivial things, like the way Elena rearranged the kitchen or Jack's stubborn refusal to discuss his feelings, each clash a veil for deeper fears, of attachment, of inevitable parting when the snow melted. But through it all, small acts of tenderness wove them closer, Jack teaching her to ride, his hands steady on hers as the horse trotted through the barn, Elena sketching his profile by firelight, capturing the quiet strength in his eyes. Suspense built as whispers of spring teased the air, the first drips from icicles signaling change. Elena grappled with the pull of her old life, letters from friends arriving via a rare supply run, urging her return to the city, while her heart tethered her to this place, to Jack. He, too, faced the looming thaw with dread, the promise he made now heavy with unspoken affection, "I'll keep you warm till spring, and after," words that lingered like a question. A crisis peaked when a late storm struck, burying the ranch anew and injuring one of the horses in a panicked stampede, forcing them to work side by side through the night, Elena holding lanterns as Jack bandaged the animal's leg, their exhaustion stripping away pretenses. In the aftermath, collapsed by the fire, confessions spilled forth, Jack admitting his fear of loving again, Elena revealing her terror of being left behind once more. The turning point came under a clearing sky, as they ventured out to clear paths, the sun glinting on melting snow, and Jack took her hand, his voice rough with emotion, vowing that his promise extended beyond seasons, into whatever future they might forge. With the arrival of true spring, wildflowers pushing through the earth like promises kept, Elena chose to stay, not out of obligation but from a blooming love that felt as natural as the greening fields. The ranch transformed under their shared vision, Elena planting a garden of herbs and vegetables, her paintings adorning the walls, bringing color to Jack's monochrome world. Challenges lingered, like adapting to rural rhythms and mending emotional wounds that scarred deep, but they navigated them together, each day a step toward healing. Jack carved a wooden heart for her, etched with their initials, a symbol of the warmth that had thawed not just bodies but souls. As summer approached, their bond deepened into a quiet partnership, walks under starlit skies where dreams intertwined, the once frozen stranger now an integral thread in the fabric of his life. The story of their meeting became legend among neighbors, a testament to how kindness in the face of despair can rewrite destinies, leaving them both forever changed, warmer in ways that winter could never touch again. If this story of redemption and unexpected love has touched your heart, stirred memories of your own second chances, or simply reminded you that even in the coldest storms, warmth can find its way, please like this video, comment below with how it made you feel, share it with a friend who needs a lift, and subscribe to Moments of Love for more emotional journeys that celebrate the human spirit. Before we end, I'd love for you to comment the line, "I'll keep you warm till spring," and after, if this tale resonated with you, let's fill the comments with echoes of hope and connection.